No, I already pushed the button.
Oh, you
I
already
already
pushed the
pushed
button.
the
Okay,
button.
then.
We're live.
We're live now. Welcome,
Yeah,
everybody, to our Wednesday Live. How you doing, Mark?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good as well. Getting through the
Good.
week, we're making it.
Yeah.
Uh, I am just like that carrot is in front of me now of the 21st when we're going to be there. We said the 20th before, but it's the 21st.
Yeah.
So,
I think that was my fault. I think I messed up there. So
oh,
yeah,
no big deal.
21st.
It's just
Yeah,
one
let's
day.
okay, let's do it. What are we talking about here? So we're talking about WinStar.
Yeah.
Dave and I, my wife Jody, Diane from our first interview. We are all going to be up at WinStar on the 21st, which is a Tuesday, the week of Thanksgiving.
Tuesday.
And we'll be staying the night there. But I think we're going to get there sometime in the afternoon. I don't really know yet, but we'll keep you posted on the exact time and all that. But I will almost guarantee we will be in the non-smoking room most of the time. So if you get there and you're curious if we're there or not, just look around. But we're also going to post updates on the community section of the channel, so that when we do arrive, we will let you know kind of in real time that we're there and where we're at. So if you want to come up there and say hi, we'd love to see you. So, and I think we're doing a couple of in-person interviews while we're there too. So
Yeah,
with you
that's going to
guys.
be awesome. It's going to be such great stuff. I like the fact that we've got a trip planned. We've got people coming, not just for an
Yeah.
interview, but also for, you know, to be interact with us, to just come play.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving. It's the week before Thanksgiving. Oh no, it's the week of Thanksgiving. So that means there should be people there already. I mean, it should be, I would think it'd be light. I think most people are going to go out of town for Thanksgiving and not stay in town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids are out of school. I don't think a lot of people are going to be at the casino on that date, or I am 100% wrong and it's completely packed. Don't tell Stacy so she shows up too.
Yeah. Well, we
There we
already
go.
know that's not going to happen. So
That's true. That's true.
he tries to
Well,
avoid us, I think.
let's get right into it because we already have Katie asking, what's going on with the Vegas strike? Well, Katie, I'm glad you asked because we got some info on that. So here we go. Uh, put that screen up here like that. Okay, so Las Vegas hotel union workers have reached a tentative deal with Caesars alone. No one else. No MGM, no Win, no one else. Just Caesars. It is a good deal from them. From the Caesars quarterly financials that were released with their SEC statement for their quarterly profits, they released that this is an extremely good deal for the union. Like, wow, raises for them. However, apparently everyone else is still on the hook. That November 10th deadline is coming up in 2 days, and no one's got a deal yet. And apparently they're far apart on those deals. So MGM's not anywhere closer to this. We are getting dangerously close to F1. And
Yes.
I have no clue what the hell's going to happen here. I mean, at all.
I mean,
So
do you think they would risk not making a deal before F1? I mean, that's a
there's
huge risk
no
to take.
way. There's no, and we're not talking about like, in Detroit, there's about 5,000 workers that are on strike. Replacing 5,000 workers with third party or scabs, whatever you want to call them, is a lot easier than the 25, 30,000 employees that are needed to run Caesars, MGM, and Win. So I really don't. And there's 60,000 total in their union. So that's a lot of people. You can't replace that many people. And
No,
with the
no, definitely
billions
not.
of dollars coming in, I mean, how many
And the
how many just
training,
to
I
the
mean, this,
ultra whales and the training?
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the training for this is different level training to be a service person in Vegas.
right.
It's not like a Ford factory, type strike situation. I mean, maybe it is to some extent, but, Vegas is, in my opinion, it is like the pinnacle of where service resides, right? Like that's where everybody goes
Right.
to get good service. It's almost guaranteed, or otherwise somebody's going to stay at another property next time. So to be able to
Exactly.
train a new set of people in such a short period of time, and F1 on top of that, when everything is sold out and booked, it's not going to happen.
I
They're
mean,
going to have to come to
there
some
are
kind of agreement.
16, right. There's $16,000 a night rooms that are
Yeah,
people are expecting top service on, and they're
Yeah.
not going to get it. This is going to be bad if this doesn't get fixed real soon. I mean,
Yeah. Very
really
true.
bad.
Very true.
But let's go into our headline story. We're going to give you a quick intro. It was a tuberculosis outbreak at a California casino. We actually were like super fortunate because I just happen to know Dr. Jen the vet. She's on Chat with the Chatfields on her YouTube show, and we have her here tonight, which is like crazy awesome because she's an infectious disease expert. She is speaks, she speaks all over the country, all over the world about infectious diseases, and she's also my good friend, and she's hilarious. But let's go ahead and bring her in here because she's the expert we should be listening to about tuberculosis. Hey Jen, how you doing?
Hey guys. Well, Dave, I feel like with that amount of hype, I should just wave to the camera now and head out. Like there's nowhere to go but down from that intro.
No, 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 you'll be fine.
All
So
right.
I gave you the little intro. Obviously, you have
Yes.
your intro of what you actually do and all this. So let's hear that a little
Yeah.
bit.
So I am a veterinarian and I think probably everybody, Mark, were you thinking, why do we have a veterinarian on to talk about this? Is that
No, you're a doctor. That's all that matters.
right?
You're
I'm a
smarter than
doctor.
us by default. So
Well,
By
only in
far.
some things, as Dave will tell you, because we have gambled together. And so only in this narrow lane will I claim any expertise. But yeah, so I actually have worked for a human department of health, as well as worked with all kinds of zoonotic diseases. Zoonotic diseases, we could get it, our dogs can get it, and we can share it. So this really piqued my interest though, because tuberculosis is one of those diseases we don't think about very often, right? And of course, the first guys I
Mm.
thought about when I saw that this was in a casino was y'all
What I think
immediately.
well, I'm
about
glad you're worried about us.
tuberculosis,
Yeah.
like when I think of tuberculosis, I think 1950s, iron lung,
Right.
all that stuff.
Well,
That is literally the extent of my knowledge.
can I ask a very dumb question? What is tuberculosis?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not a dumb question because, like Dave said, no one thinks about it anymore, right? I mean, didn't we get rid of that? Is that even still a thing?
Yeah.
Tuberculosis?
Is it like smallpox?
I know, right? Like I thought we were kind of over that. No, actually, tuberculosis is still a big deal. So it's a bacterial infection, but it is a special kind of bacteria. So it's a mycobacterium, and you don't really need to know more about mycobacterium except that they're really special. They're slow growing, and you don't want to pick those for an infection, right? So if you get to pick a bacterial infection, don't pick mycobacterium, right? So yeah, so this happened in a casino in California, like Dave said, right? Pacheco's, let's see, Pacheco's California Grand Casino. And I know if you guys read this article at all, you were just gobsmacked. Oh my gosh, could I have been exposed? Oh my gosh, let me see. When are they saying that I could have been exposed? From 2018 to 2023? What?
Wow.
That's insane.
Is that because it can sit dormant for that long? Is that
Yeah. So
okay?
that's why so tuberculosis is like a silent slow killer. And it's also really difficult to test for. So there's no good test for tuberculosis in a live creature, including people. There's just no good test for it because it is very slow growing and it can just sit there and not piss off the immune system for years and years. And most of the time we're kind of gauging how pissed off is your immune system, right? Like that's how we test for a lot of diseases, to be honest. And tuberculosis is one of those. So it's difficult. But what's interesting to me about this is that number one, they popped off and said, we're trying to reach out to like more than 300 people and make sure they follow up with their health department, right? 300 people is a lot of people because that's the beginning, right? That's the beginning number. A lot of times in these sorts of investigations, we call them epidemiological investigations. A lot of times in these investigations, that number grows, right? So they had 10 people that they confirmed were infected. So they definitely have disease. And then what they did is they looked at the genetic makeup of the tuberculosis, the bacterium, the mycobacterium that they found in those people. And they said, oh, these are all related. It's all the
Uh-oh.
same. Yeah. So you guys probably got this together and shared it. Yeah. One of those things.
And in
And
Oh, geez.
yeah. And
in a
so then they
confined
found,
space, it's like just transfer like coughing. Like right now, I can't help myself from coughing. It's like when someone says lice, you start itching your head.
yes.
Tuberculosis, I start coughing, and so it's just
Oh,
you're next to someone like a dealer for 2
yes.
hours. That guy's coughing. You're getting tuberculosis.
No, it's actually not that
Oh,
easy to
that's good.
get. That's the
Oh,
other
that's
thing.
good. Yeah.
I
Thank
mean,
God for that.
Dave, I thought that you had just left me and Mark out of some new drinking game that was going on the channel. I wasn't sure. Like, Mark, did you get left out of that one?
I'm always left out of anything that you do.
It's like I keep having coughing. It's like now I'm freaking out. I got tuberculosis.
Right. No.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. I like when I talk about tuberculosis with folks because I've lectured on TB at veterinary schools and actually in human medical situations as well. But I tell people you have to really work at getting tuberculosis. Okay. So does everybody remember in Tombstone, the movie, Doc Holliday, right?
Yeah, Doc Holliday.
Doc
I'm the
Holliday had
Huckleberry.
yes, right? He was my Huckleberry. So he had consumption is what they used to call it, right? It's also called tuberculosis. That's what it was because it would just consumes your body. Like so one of the ancient I think one of the ancient Greek doctors or somebody said the reason that they called it consumption is that eventually the body would be consumed by pus. Right? That's a fun fact to share at parties.
It's not that fun.
Right. But anyways,
Kind of gross.
so they called it consumption. Anyway, but you see, like all of his cowboy friends, they weren't really worried about getting it from him necessarily, right? You have to spend a prolonged amount of time around somebody with an active TB infection in order to contract the disease from them. So that does not mean that just because someone is TB positive, you can get the disease from them. You can't. They have to have an active infection, which means they're shedding it and it won't be a secret. Like you'll see it. It's like it'd be pus and sputum and bloody stuff they're coughing up. It's gross.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's super nasty. Hey, it's one of the less glamorous portions of my job. Talking about this.
It's one of the really less glamorous infectious diseases, you know.
It is. It is. I mean, if you want to talk about glamorous, we could talk about like glamorous and super sensational and sexy like diseases. Tuberculosis is not one of them. Although I did bring some fun facts for the audience. Do you guys want some fun facts?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
As long as they're not gross, I'm good with it.
Okay. Well, they're not gross, but they're a little macabre. They all tell you that. Okay. So we were talking earlier and saying like TB, is that really even still a thing? Yeah, actually, TB is one of the leading infectious causes of disease globally still, which is incredible, right? Now, by and large, it's really only a dramatic disease threat to people who have an underlying comorbidity. And I feel like, thanks COVID, we all know that a comorbidity is an underlying illness or characteristic that makes you more susceptible to disease, right? And in fact, the most common one that makes tuberculosis an issue is HIV positive status. And so anyway, so I think it's interesting that in the United States, we're very fortunate, right? We don't really worry about tuberculosis too much, but we spend a lot of money on tuberculosis in the United States every year because we are trying to keep people from spreading it. We don't want it to become a bigger problem, right? But it is a respiratory infection and people do still get it. Now, what do you think would happen if all of a sudden it turned out that a whole bunch like of these 300 people, what if, and I'm just speculating, what if it turned out that, 20% of them contracted TB in that like 5-year period? does
People be
infectious
freaking out.
right? So I guess my bigger question is: does infectious disease outbreak, does that impact casinos?
I
Mm.
would say yes. I
I
mean, maybe not
mean,
a tuberculosis outbreak since it's hard to get, but you're still having that fear factor come in.
and
I mean, if I
yeah,
heard that
okay,
And
this
people are
casino,
uneducated about what it is and how it
yeah,
transmits and all that. So
yeah, and everyone's
yeah,
still afraid from the pandemic, right? So with the
yeah,
that's right.
pandemic, the gaming industry, um, they lost billions of dollars, right? Like because they lost a third, roughly a third of their revenue. Right. So
yeah.
it's just an incredible amount of money that was lost. And that was just a little old infectious disease. I mean, just a little old respiratory disease. So that's why I felt like when I saw this headline, immediately I thought of you guys and I thought of your audience because I mean, maybe it's a good time to remind people when you're sitting at the slots, you know, don't lick your hands, don't lick the buttons, maybe wash your hands a little more often than you otherwise would, those sorts of things, just saying.
I got a couple questions because we definitely are going to get into like how to like I guess casino not etiquette but like best practices for keeping yourself safe. Could be
Yes.
etiquette, I guess. Um, so I'm really interested about like this case and how it spread, and I did want to put a comment up from Mike in here because I am aware that California is largely outside of the tribal casinos
Yeah.
and the tribal land. They're just card rooms, and to me, that translates to a lot of being very close with people for a very long time. A lot of
Very
people
long
who play
time.
poker and cards, they can stay there for a very very long time. Does that mean that potentially what happened is somebody that was showing symptoms of tuberculosis was in the card room and close to people, then that's how they ended up contracting it, even though they may have not have shown any kind of symptoms for many, many years? Is that kind of
Yeah.
how you think it started? Or
Yeah. Like, I think that's like, thanks, Mike, for popping out with that because again, casinos aren't my forte. But I do love to play the blackjack when we're in Vegas. And so I can appreciate the guy who sits at the table for 5 hours because I am that guy.
right?
Um, So in this particular case, at this casino in California, they actually, it was actually not like what they're saying. It was not a casino worker. It was not a guest. They've tracked it back. They think, although they haven't conclusively determined it yet, they think it was third party staff. So like I guess
Mm.
Oh,
contractors, right? Service contractors, maybe. So it not
Stupid
wasn't
slot
necessarily.
techs, I'm telling you,
the
it's the
slot tech.
slot techs coming in there. Except there's no slots, so that's
There's
invalid.
no slots, right?
There's no slots
But
even.
but that's
It
the
always
thing.
goes.
So,
It goes back to the tech people though, because they're dirty people, right?
oh
We
my
don't want
God,
But
that
tech
here.
also,
guys,
San
ugh,
Francisco's San
definitely.
Francisco's a huge international travel hub.
It
I mean,
is.
you have people
It,
coming from all over the world into San
yep,
Francisco.
Yeah.
yep.
So
And California's a border state too. And there's so another fun fact is there actually is a vaccination against tuberculosis. We don't use it in this country, but they do use it in Mexico. Um,
Mm.
and so once you are vaccinated for tuberculosis, you will always test positive. Which I think is one
Interesting.
reason that we don't use it here. It's also not widespread here as a disease, although it's still a public health concern. But so border states, large international airports, lots of people from different parts of the world coming together is a great point because that's how you get that mixing pot of
Yeah.
of
of
pathogens.
diseases,
Yeah. But Mike, I would agree. So Mike said that this is a place that has like table games, and card
it's
games.
only
And
it's only
so,
poker.
yeah. So sitting, in close proximity to somebody who is displaying fulminant signs of tuberculosis, um, is how you would contract it. However, I would wager, especially again in this day and age, thanks COVID, most of us, if someone is sitting next to us and hawking stuff up, I don't think we're just gonna sit there for like 6 hours. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
but
you'll
if I'm
find a
having the
new
best poker
table.
game of my night of
Yeah,
the
I
life,
would
I'm
totally.
definitely staying there.
But But then you know what I would do? Because also, I mean, I've been a big winner in a table game and I get real obnoxious. I'll call the pit boss over and say, get this guy off my table. This is
Yeah,
disgusting.
he's got
Right?
tuberculosis.
Yeah.
Everybody,
got
he's got
tuberculosis.
tuberculosis right
I mean,
here. This guy.
exactly. Exactly. Like I'll play his hand for him, but he don't need to sit right here. You know?
Oh my goodness.
If I ever
Yeah.
end up playing live poker with Mike at a table, I'm totally writing him out on the tuberculosis front. I'm like,
Yeah,
he's got tuberculosis. You got to get him out of here.
especially if
Sorry,
you get the
Mike.
heads up with him.
Yes. Okay. But here's something else I want to bring up too. Just in case it doesn't come up later, because I can't see the comments and maybe someone's writing something about this. But in the land of masks, okay, and everyone can say what they want. They like them, don't like them. I don't really care about your opinion of them. I care about the scientific data. And bacteria are large. So in the scheme of pathogens, right, viruses are very, 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 very small. Bacteria, mycobacteria, are large. And there is a specific mask that we talk about as a tuberculosis mask. It's a duckbill mask, we call it too. It's really unattractive. It's usually orange. It's just super duper uncomfortable to wear for any amount of time, even 15 or 20 minutes, because it's like plastinated, it's hard to breathe through, and it has to stick on your face to prevent the transmission. And even then, it's not 100%. And so when you think, if you're thinking to yourself, I'm having like the ride of my life with this card game, I'm just gonna put a mask on, or I'm gonna give that guy a mask to put on.
Yeah,
Nah, you may as well just live on the edge,
I think
because
I'll
it's
just
not
put him
gonna
in a
be
bubble. Is what. I'll just
yeah.
wrap him in saran wrap and leave him there.
Yeah, like it's not
Well,
gonna
like,
be that effective, right? Like it's just not. So put a chair between the two of you
There you
and
go.
call the pit boss. Would be my
Yeah.
I'll
recommendation.
put Mike between
Look
the
at
two
all
of
his
us.
dead. Look at all the dead skin on the felt right in front of him. Do something
Right.
about that.
Oh, so
Hey,
nasty.
hey! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You see him
oh.
coughing up into a thing, and he's like, "Oh, it's blood." Yeah, get away from that
Yeah.
guy.
So I do want to say this, because the one thing is I don't want anybody in the chat or watching this to freak out. This isn't a pandemic or anything like that. The main reason that we brought this story up is to talk about what we're about to get into, and that is just best practices when you are inside of a casino. Because whether you believe it or not, and I think the pandemic, COVID really taught us, what transmission is for a lot of people and how easy it can be sometimes. So if you remember back during the pandemic when the casinos first started to open up, they were doing a lot of social distancing things where they were turning off every other slot machine, for example, forcing the mask to be worn, that kind of thing. That's all kind of faded away right now, but there's still some things that you should be doing, because I think that most people don't really understand how much, our fingers are touching everything, especially the slot machines, and people wiping the screens, the money, the ATM, the button decks. Like, there are so many spots inside of a casino that transmission is highly likely.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that you can do? Like, I'm going to leave it up to you to tell us, does hand sanitizer work? How often should you wash your hands? All those kinds of things. What is the best thing we can do?
Yeah. So actually the very best thing you can do is be healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
crap, I'm screwed.
yeah. And,
No,
and
I'm
is
really screwed.
no, okay. So I'll enumerate these, right? So number one, in the things that you can control, right, is if you are petrified of getting sick, don't leave your house. Okay, so there you go. There, if you want to keep your risk as low as you can, stay home. Now, if you decide you want to go, because I like to go, then great. So then the second thing you can do is, if you're going to go, the thing you can control is your status, right? So make sure that you are healthy. Okay. And that's so hard when I go to the casino because I stay out late. I'm so excited. I'm already physiologically stressed because I traveled. For me, I go from the tropics, the subtropics of Florida, to the desert. Right. And so that's a big change. So recognize that you have to keep yourself as healthy as you can and take some precautions, right? Get a little extra sleep, take care of yourself, etc. Okay. So then we move into, how about that environment that I'm in, the casino itself? So you can hand sanitize as much as you want. You could wipe down those machines with alcohol wipes, and you may be entertaining yourself, but you're not doing much for pathogens. So,
Fair
so
enough. Fair
yeah.
enough.
And so I mean, it makes a lot of people feel better. Does it make things cleaner? Yeah, potentially. You're getting some gross dirt and grime off of off of the machines.
Right.
But are you disinfecting? Are you having enough contact time with whatever the active agent is in your sanitizer or your wipe? Nah, you're probably not. So you're just
Right.
smearing it
Right.
around. If you are worried, if you feel like your hands are dirty, go wash them with soap. That's the most effective thing you can do. And so for me, if I was sitting at the slots, um, I I wouldn't necessarily, uh, touch all over my glass that I have a drink in. I might touch the
Okay.
bottom of it, but be careful, don't touch the rim, right? Or don't drink while you're at the slots. After you get done with the machine, go wash your hands, get a drink.
There you go, Dave.
I'm just saying, like, and you know what, Mark? These things all sound familiar because this is all the same stuff that your mom told you when she first sent you to kindergarten, right? Like, don't hang out
Very
with sick
true.
kids. So if someone's like really snarfully next to you, go to a different machine.
I do that
Or
anyway,
Yeah,
right.
anyway.
just because they're being snarkily or whatever that word
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Okay. So don't hang out with sick people.
Yeah.
If it's wet and made by a stranger, don't touch it. These are like basic rules.
Yeah.
Don't lick random stuff. And
Well,
so
that's just difficult to do.
I know,
Just don't lick
right?
random stuff. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Listen. I'm just gonna tell. I have one little anecdote I'm gonna tell you about this because I find it incredibly amusing. So I used to go into schools and do lots of talks about different kinds of animals for kids because I work with a lot of different animals. And I would also notice the adults in the room because frequently it would be like a school assembly. There'd be parents there and all the teachers and stuff. And so a lot of times I would have a creature with me and I would say, okay, so now we're going to line up single file and you're going to come through as a class very, very calmly. And you can pet this little creature or you can touch it, or you can get close to it or, whatever they want, whatever they're comfortable doing. And I would say, and we have 2 rules. Number 1, you're going to wash your hands right after you leave. So the whole line would go to the little kid's bathroom to wash their hands. And number 2, we're not going to lick this animal. And inevitably there would be one little kid and usually like one adult who would go like this. Okay. All right. Not this one. Got it. Right. Like, and I'm like, what is going through people's heads?
Always
But
wanted
you
to
would
lick a
see
baby
it.
armadillo.
Yeah.
I know, but you would like I could
The
see like
urge
the
is so
wheels
strong.
turn. They would just be like, "Oh, all right, got it, Dr. Jen. Not licking this one. Got it." You know,
But the next one, I'm on it.
that's right. So
Well,
anyway, yeah.
the problem I see is that when you lick the machine, you increase your odds by about 12%. So what are we supposed to
Oh,
do?
Oh,
I mean, what's that
and it's
12%
not
worth to
weird at
you?
all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I
weird at
mean,
all.
And listen, but we should also say we're making light of this, right? But
sure.
infectious disease is a very real situation for all of us. All living creatures face infectious disease. But also if you've had a loved one who has contracted a disease like this from a public space, we don't mean to make light of that or minimize that
Sure.
because I know that happens.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a fact of life. And so,
Yeah, don't blame them. It's
yeah,
not
so
their
we're,
fault. Yeah.
that is 100% right. Like we're not saying that. And I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying there are some things that you can do to minimize the potential for you bringing home something besides just, cash that you won. Yeah.
And there
So
are actually a couple of questions for you too.
what?
Yeah, there
Okay.
are.
I
Here we
love
go.
it.
This one's from Larry. Dr. Jen, how big of a concern is a wider outbreak in the county?
Yeah. So I don't think that it wouldn't make like my top 10 list of concerns. However, it is important and that's what the county health officer is trying to do. It is important to immediately get hold of it, right? Like trace all those folks who may have been exposed because with tuberculosis, the sooner you identify it and start treating it, because it is very treatable, especially in the United States, then the sooner that you stop that person from potentially infecting someone else, because once they're on treatment, they're not infectious. But then also the sooner you get that person healthy, because they may not realize that they've been exposed and potentially infected. So I think that's the reason that they put this press release out, that the county health department is trying to identify those contacts, is just because they want to get their hands on it so that they can contain it effectively.
Gotcha. And also from Katie, the problem is that gamblers don't play in only one casino.
That's true.
I'd avoid all casinos in the area. So I mean, like, since you said it does spread slowly,
It does.
it's probably still a problem where it's still spreading until they actually find
Right. Well, and
everyone.
the thing is that this one, Katie, you are correct. Holy moly, right? Gamblers, they're not necessarily loyal to any casino, in my experience. Like, but this again was not traced to gamblers, right? They in their public statements, they've said that they're fairly certain. They haven't traced it to an exact individual, but they're fairly certain that this started with third party staffers. So it wasn't necessarily gamblers that brought it in. Now, having said that, I think these companies all contract at multiple casinos as well. But it's I would guess that the third party staffers probably were local to that casino rather than multiples.
Gotcha. And also from, what's this? There it is. This is Chris. This is actually a scientific question. Can someone who has been treated for latent TB be reinfected? Wow, that's a good question, Chris. That's a really good question.
It is. I feel like Chris is withholding a little bit of background information that he has. No, Chris, I love it. So what Chris is talking about, like latent TB. So there's two different kinds of TB infections in people. There's an active case where the mycobacteria is active. It's actively dividing, it's growing, and the immune system is working, and the person is more likely to shed the organism and pass it on, right? Versus latent TB, which is just imagine a lazy bacteria. So it's just sitting around in you, like in the person's chest or bones or what have you, because that's the other thing. TB can be in a lot of different tissue, not just in the lungs. So it's just hanging around and not doing anything. It's not growing. It's not actively being shed. It's just sitting there. So they don't necessarily become reinfected. They may, their infection may become active again. So that is possible. But it doesn't, I don't think it happens very often, especially if it's been treated effectively. Yeah.
And then last question from Richard. The TB definitely came from the shrimp at the buffet. That's a long-standing joke about shrimp in the buffet and winning. But there you go.
My goodness.
So
I love that.
could the shrimp have transmitted TB? Is that a
So
possibility? Should we
I
worry?
mean, anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. So I'm telling you there's a chance, sure. But like I don't like, to me, I wouldn't bet on this, right? I wouldn't bet on this. Now I will tell you that this did used to be like a foodborne illness. Tuberculosis was like a foodborne illness because you got it from drinking milk that was infected. Yeah.
Crap.
Which is why it used to be like back in World War I, it was a disease of officers in the military, because milk was rationed and officers got it. Right. And so I know, right? And these are all fun facts. I know. And the other thing is they used to think that the most effective treatment for it was they would put you in a sanatorium, which didn't mean you were crazy. It meant you were there to like convalesce and recover. And so you would get lots of milk, good food, and sunlight. And sunlight will inactivate tuberculosis.
Huh.
So that's the other thing. If you could ever get an outdoor casino, you'd probably be
There you
home
go.
free.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
That's going to be my
So
next thing to try to actually make is an outdoor casino, so I don't get TV
yeah,
and I
or
can look at all
COVID.
the machines I want.
Yeah,
Yeah. No
exactly.
TV zone.
That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no TV
those are
zone.
great questions. Like those
Yeah.
are really great. I love that.
We have great viewers, like
Yeah.
just like all sorts of everyone's got a question about this because it's something that we don't face often in our lifetime. I know we just went through
Yep.
a pandemic, but then you hear tuberculosis, and it's like, you mean like the iron lung thing?
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Because when I saw you send that to me, I was just like, they're still getting tuberculosis. I mean,
Right. Is that still
but
a
that's how
thing?
that happens. Yeah,
It is. And
it's
now I
still a
will
thing
tell you,
apparently.
do you guys know the song? There's a song about a guy and his iron lung. Does anybody know it? Do you guys know it?
There's a song about a guy in his iron lung.
Yeah, it's you
This,
want me to
this
tell you the
sounds just like
title?
a happy song. Let's
Well,
hear it.
like I don't want to nerd out too much, but it's Mr. Frump and his iron lung. It's by Weird Al, and it's really good.
Oh, of course it is.
That's my TV lyrical reference.
I wanted to put up this comment real quick, just so people understood. I figured we would get this one. So I
Yes.
just wondered what I missed. What does this have to do with gambling? So the whole story is that this tuberculosis outbreak, and I use that in quotes, started in a casino inside of California. But the reason that we really made this a topic is because in general, casinos are very dirty places. And what we're trying to do is come up with some ideas so you guys can help be a little bit safer and not come home sick all the time. I come home sick from Vegas 9 times out of 10 when I get back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just because of the transmission. It's so easy.
Well,
Not the respiratory ones necessarily, but
yeah.
like colds, those types of things, which are just prevalent everywhere, but hyper-focused people coming from all over the place.
But I would tell you, like, I'll push back a little bit, Mark, and say, I don't know that casinos are that much dirtier than any other public spaces, to be honest.
Fair enough.
But I think that, I think
believe me, I agree.
I mean, I hate to say I've seen dirtier, but, I hate to say that, we in this day and age, we sort of discount the massive environmental shift that happens. Like for me, and I know where you are, it's wetter than it is in the desert, right? You guys are going to go up to Windstar.
Right.
It's drier there. And just changing that environment for you, coupled with the physiological stressors of traveling, which even if it's happy travel, it is a physiological stressor, I think does predispose us to infection with things that ordinarily would not bother our system at all. And so
That's interesting.
I'm not so quick to blame the casino itself.
Okay.
I mean, anywhere you go where there's the public and lots of traveling and people going in and out and this and that, I mean, sure, you get that. But I do think that it's not. I'm just saying, let's not point the finger at the casino directly.
So that tends to make sense on why I get sick when I come back, because it's dry out there, it's wet here, and I'm usually depressed because I lost my money in Vegas. So that's putting stressors on my body. That makes sense.
Yes.
But when I'm heading out there, I'm real excited because I haven't started yet.
That's right. And that adrenaline will cover up a lot of things.
Oh, yeah,
that ail ya.
You can play when you're sick.
I know. So I
excited.
guess. So I've been dying for this live so that I could just say to the audience. So I guess when we talk about infectious disease, traveling, gambling in a casino, you have to ask yourself, do you feel lucky?
Well, lucky with gambling or lucky with my life and infectious diseases? Which one are you talking about?
Every decision we make every day is a risk. It's a risk assessment that we have to make, right?
True.
And so going to the casino, is fraught with risks on many levels.
And definitely, you're gambling every day, so
Yes.
it might as well just be another
Yes.
one.
That's
But this
right.
also it fits in with our theme of gambling safe as well,
Yeah.
because we don't think of safety. We always think of gambling safe in a casino as watching your money,
Yeah.
making sure you know who's behind you and all that. But you kind of got to watch out who's coughing around you too, or
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
sick. Kind of
Yeah.
be aware of your
Yeah.
surroundings, and that's super important.
Yeah.
But
And also if you are, I mean, if you are too, like, you don't have to stay out till 2 a.m. gambling. You could go to
Oh, that's
bed,
BS.
what?
you know.
No, don't listen to those people. She's not an
When you're
expert
in
in this area.
Vegas, I went to Vegas once and I had a cold, and getting room service of chicken noodle soup and crackers and stuff. I still went down to play. I felt
Yeah.
bad because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to give somebody else the cold, but I gotta play while I'm here.
they're
Yeah.
gambling with their life too.
See?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's a fair risk because I'm sure you were symptomatic. And so when they sat
Oh
down
yeah.
next to you, they knew. But I also
Yeah.
think that these days in the casino too, I mean, some people are like, this is my machine. I'm playing this machine. Like I want to play this one, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But I think by and large, people are a little more conscientious about who's sitting next to them and what they sound like.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah. That's
snarfly,
true.
and they'll just move away or they'll wait for them to get done.
I love that word snarkily. I'm going
Snarfly,
to
yeah, I'm
start
gonna be
using
using
that now.
snarfly a lot.
That's great. I think it
You're
describes a
welcome.
lot of different things. Don't be
It does.
snarkily
I'm feeling
at the
snarfly all of a
blackjack
sudden.
table.
It does.
I
It
love it.
does. It does. And the other thing is too, because I like table games, right? So like I play the blackjack. Um, do you have to? I guess you got to touch your cards. I mean, you don't
Gotta
have to
touch your
touch the
cards.
cards.
Gotta
You
touch the
you
Yeah.
chips.
can
Gotta touch
you
the
can
cards.
you can scratch on the table. You don't
Yeah.
have to touch the cards. So you don't even have to worry about if the dealer is that way. Although I think that and Dave, you probably know more about this as well. I think the casino doesn't. I mean, I've just never seen a dealer that seemed to be ill. They're
You see
just
them every
not
once
like.
in a while,
Yeah,
but
but it's
most of the
rare,
time,
right?
yeah, it's rare.
They'll
They're not
probably
gonna
shut
have
that down
someone
quick.
who is like blowing their nose, like that. You might see someone once
Oh
in a while
man.
do like the sneeze into their shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're most
Yeah.
likely gonna tell that person to go home if you're sick, or
Yeah.
hey, you can't do this. You're gonna have to go in the count room or whatever else. So
Right.
a lot of
Right.
times they're not doing on the floor work when they're actually
Yeah.
actively sick.
Yeah. And
But
so I
that's
think
a
that's fair. And I'm happy they do that. That's all about customer service, which as we know, casinos are in the
Yeah.
business of customer service.
yep.
So yeah, but just because someone sneezes once or twice, even 3 times, doesn't mean they have tuberculosis.
Yeah.
Check.
So
It's
Jen, thank you
probably
so much for
like you
coming
said,
on.
it's the
Oh,
change from. Oh, I'm
yes.
sorry. I was just going to say it's most likely the change
go
from,
for it.
because I know
Yes.
Dave and I go through this every time we go out there. It's very humid,
Yep.
very wet here. And then you get there and it's super dry,
Yep.
and whatever, all the difficulties that come with that
Yeah.
make you feel like it. I don't know what it is. And I do, but you kind of help to explain it, is that every time my first night out in Vegas, I am always miserable. I can't
Yep.
sleep well. I've got the cotton mouth because I'm used to the humidity. And
Yep.
it takes me a
The smoke
day.
gets you.
Yeah, it takes me a day to even want to come
Yeah.
out of my room because it's just
Yeah.
it hits you. Um,
Yeah. A
and
personal
so
humidifier is helpful.
Who carries
how
that with
big are
them?
they? Are they something you could bring?
They,
Like,
yeah, oh yeah, like you could get. Come on now, you guys know Amazon. You could get these little ones. They're like this big. They look like a thermos almost, and they plug into a USB port, and you put it right by right like on the nightstand. So it's like
oh really?
spins up this little
I'm
thing.
searching for this on
Yes,
Amazon.
I need to get one of these things.
yeah, they're
I'm searching
super
right now, Mark.
great. They'll make
Okay,
a big
find one.
difference. They'll make a
That's
big
a
difference.
great idea.
Because listen, you cannot function and make good decisions if you're feeling like poop. Like you just
Yeah,
can't.
that's true.
So
For
yeah,
like 18
No.
bucks.
yeah, they're great, and they can run for like you can get them to run for 12 hours on one tank of water. Like it's not even really a big tank; it's like a little one, and for me, it's enough of a difference that I don't get that headache, and I don't feel like I got hit by a truck.
I guess I could just turn the shower on and just leave it on my entire stay.
Look, you're in the desert. Do not waste water. I can't condone that. I can't condone
It is
that at
still in the middle
all.
of the desert. I was
It's all
joking, but yeah.
recycled. It's okay.
Holy moly, you guys. Yes. Anyway,
I'm looking
so
for alternatives. That's all I was looking for.
right. And so who was it that asked the question? Like I missed it. What does it have to do with gambling? I forgot who asked that question.
What does it have to do with gambling?
That was
What we're
Candy,
talking
yes.
about? Yeah.
Yeah, Candy. So you're right. It sounds like this doesn't have anything to do with gambling, except that we would like for you to have all your faculties intact so that you can make good decisions.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot
Return
of
to home
sense.
healthy.
And return home healthy. Yes. And
Yes.
tell everyone all about your winnings.
There you go. There you go.
Yes. So anyway, thanks you guys for having me on. Let me
It
ramble
was
on
very
about
nice to meet
this.
you, Jen.
Yeah.
Jen,
it was
thank you
great
so
to
much
see
for
you
coming
too.
on. Absolutely appreciate it. We got your link down in there, and I'll put the link in the
I see
chat, and that's
that.
Chat with the Chatfields show on YouTube. Definitely check it out. All about
It's
obviously pets, animals, diseases.
yeah, not gambling. Not
No
gambling.
gambling. Come here for gambling.
Oh, you shouldn't have said
Be
that.
there
Now
for your
nobody's
pet
going to go over there.
I know. And if you have a pet of any kind, if you just like animals,
What if my pet gambles? My
you
dog
know.
plays the slots. Can
You
you help
know,
with that?
his dog has a problem.
Listen, I like to say that I gambled when I got a French bulldog because
Okay.
it's a crapshoot because you got to pick them out when they're 2 weeks old and they're like a lump. You have no idea if their personality is
Oh,
going to be
yeah.
good or not. But
Yeah.
I gambled and I won because she's the best.
There you
So
There
go.
you go.
There you
yes. Anyway,
Jen, thanks
anyway,
so much for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Jen. Thank you. That
All
was
right.
absolutely cool. I mean, talk about just some different information that I've still, when I hear the word tuberculosis, I freak out. Like, oh crap, we're all gonna die. But that's just because from the pandemic, we're all like scared.
Oh, very
You know?
sensitive to that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is a
absolutely.
good one from Chris here. You can't gamble smart if you aren't safe. That's a good one, Chris.
I like
very,
that.
very, very true. I
Yep.
like that a lot. We may be stealing. We are stealing that from you guys, but we give you credit right here. Chris did
Yeah,
say
I
that
love
first.
it. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have info like that on the show. The show's not going to be just 100% gambling all the time. We're going to be gambling related items. It could be stuff like what's happening around the world as far as maybe infectious disease, maybe a change in technology, any of these things. So all this stuff is going to be on this show. It's really no hold barred. If we can
That's right.
loosely associate it with gambling, we're going to have it on here.
We'll make some kind of connection. Yeah.
Exactly.
Before we take questions, I just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody that has already taken part in the interviews. We've got 3 done already. You guys can see those if you haven't already. I know a lot of you guys have watched it. We have a lot in the queue, and Dave has been feverishly reaching out to you to get things scheduled. We'll do our best to get back to you as soon as we can. But please remember, if you want to be part of the interview, it doesn't cost you anything. And actually, we didn't publicly announce this, but we're actually doing a giveaway for everybody that does a public interview, where you will get a trip to Vegas or a couple of nights stay and be able to gamble with Dave and I. And we'll even help cover your airfare. I think we decided on like $300 will help cover your airfare. So
Yep.
If you want to get entered into that, all you have to do is sign up to be part of the public interview, and you can get a chance to win that. But other than that, we really just want to try to help as many people as we can. And we're trying to get, people that are low budget players, people that have never gambled before. I've got somebody, I'm going to interview my neighbor who doesn't gamble at all, sees no interest in it whatsoever. But I want to learn why that is. Like, why is it that he never got into gambling? I think that's a perspective that, some of you guys may not have considered before. And so we're trying to get all walks of life, all different types of people, all different types of budgets, what they like to play, and then also make recommendations to try to help them out a little bit. Because everybody has a little thing that they need to work on, even ourselves included. Dave and I need to work on things. And so sometimes it's good to just get that reminder. So thank you, everybody, for being part of that. If you do want to be part of it, all you need to do is send us an email at gamblesmartgamblesafe@gmail.com and let us know you're interested, and we'll get it all scheduled for you. So thanks so much to everybody.
Absolutely. And if people have asked me, What about if I'm international? It still applies. Please let us
Yeah,
know
it
whether
doesn't matter.
you're
Yeah.
in the US or that. All that means is we're going to have to, Zoom call it or, do it on the live stream, whichever one. That doesn't exclude you at all. It's anything and everything. So if you are a high limit gambler or a low limit gambler, table games, slots, international or local, all that applies. We're looking for everybody. And also, how's everybody liking the tip of the day? I know Mark's been doing most of them. I got them all next week. How you
Yep.
guys been liking them? I see a lot of people getting on there asking questions. I like that a lot. That's pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah.
But let us know what you're thinking. Uh, how have you liked the tips? And who's entered the daily drawing yet? Will that does anybody watching
Happened
that
today,
closely?
guys.
Are you
Happened today.
entered? Yeah, don't
Make
miss
sure you
that.
watch you got to make sure you watch every single day because because this was the first giveaway, we decided to make it a week to enter. But coming
Yep.
up, the next time the giveaway comes up on the little wheel, there will not be a week's head. You got to post it that day. At the end of that
One
day,
day.
that's it. So you got to make sure you stay tuned when that giveaway comes up again. But just because it's the first one, we're going to be a little lenient. But going forward, you're going to have to be on the button.
We got to control Mark giving away stuff,
Yeah, I need to make that wedge a little smaller. It's a little too big.
Make that a little harder to be.
Yeah, I know. No.
It's gonna
It's
be like
already a
the
little
edge of a
smaller than all
card.
the others.
Small.
Yeah. The odds of
How
winning
big's
mega
that
bucks.
wedge?
That's what
It's
we
like
need to do.
it's on the edge of a card.
Yeah.
But I've even enjoyed the tips of the day because I'm watching Mark every day, and I do my best to not look ahead of what he's posted for the next day because I want to be surprised. I want to see it at the same time you do.
Yeah.
And I've already got my one done for Monday, and I'm working on the rest of them. I don't want to go too far in advance because I like to get your questions as well on the previous weeks. So I'm looking at all the questions on every single video we post. And so if you have questions on there, put them on there. They might get mentioned. My very first one was a question.
Oh wow. Okay. And I'm
Was not
doing the
prepared for
same. I'm
that,
not
actually.
watching Dave's. I did watch your first one, but I'm not going to do that either. Not going to spoil
He
the
has
fun.
quality control.
That's right. We got to keep each
And
other in check,
also,
right?
you notice Mark's been doing the interviews and he's been doing the tips of the day because I have been busy with Worlds. Worlds is now over, thankfully. I'm actually starting to get my voice back. Yeah, Mark's really happy about that. But I do have
Yeah.
to show everybody what the point was, and it was for this. That's what I
Oh,
got
that's
as the
epic.
Holy Grail. That's
I
pretty
love
cool,
it.
isn't it? Yeah,
That is
got the
cool.
spine and everything. Yeah. So
It's kind of
there was
scary looking, but I love it.
it is horribly terrifying, but there's also cups you can drink out of it,
Oh,
so you look really
geez.
cool. But yeah, there is a reason it's for swag. That's the main reason I do live my life is for swag.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like sometimes it doesn't matter what it is, Is it a USB stick? I got that,
Oh yeah. Too much swag. I've got too much swag too. It's easy to collect all that stuff.
Was so I recently cleaned out a part of my closet that I guess I have never cleaned out before. It was a box I've never unpacked. It was shirts from when I was in college, and you'd get a free shirt if you signed up for the credit card.
Oh no.
So we
And you
used to
signed up
sign
for
up for
way too
shirts
many
all.
credit cards.
I mean, I think it was actually the same credit card like 7 times because they never counted how many times you signed up for it. So yeah, that was
And
definitely good. Oh, one from Linda here. Oh, maybe Linda might win.
this,
You don't
there
need to
you
pay for
go.
airfare; she can drive. All right,
There
Linda,
you
we got your
go.
gas covered. We're good. If you win,
Yeah.
I
We'll cover your
feel
gas
like
for
your
sure.
odds got really well just all of a sudden.
Oh no. It's gonna be very fair. But you gotta do the interview first, Linda. I haven't seen you sign up. You gotta do the public interview. That's the only way to get entered.
And from Jason Myers, what swag did you get at G2E? Not really that much.
There was nothing
I got
this
some
year.
little things here and there, yeah, but nothing much at all. Like not nearly what it was last year.
No,
The
definitely not.
best thing swag wise I got was a little medical kit from the Technologent booth, and that was it. It's like little band-aids, lip balm, eye drops, all that. That was
What does
the
that have
best
to
thing
do
I
with
got.
G2E?
They're at G2E. That
Yeah.
was what I got from them, and that was like the best thing I got.
And I was gonna look. There was a comment in here. If you guys we'll wrap up with the last 5 minutes or so. We'll take any kind of comments, last minute comments you guys have.
From B Buckler. Hey Dave, when does the Theo Day start at MGM and Caesars? So for their accelerator, it starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 5:59 a.m. It used to be midnight to midnight, but then they changed it to 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. or roughly 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Caesars does start at midnight, as far as I know. I have not heard anything different. I believe it is a midnight to midnight thing, midnight to 11:59 p.m. You know what I mean?
And Kimmer says, I'm in Canada. That would be an expensive flight to Vegas. It could be. That's
We'll
why we're
fly
not
to
paying
you.
for the entire flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll come to you. How's that?
We'll come to you, Kimmer.
It'd be great. Love to get no
I get a
taxes
lot
on my
of
hand
stuff.
pays.
Oh man, no taxes at all. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Do you want taxes taken out? I do not, because you can't report it to the
Don't
IRS.
need to worry about it. That's right. That's right. So unless you guys, well, we'll do our little wrap up here, but if you get any last minute questions here, we'll bring them in. So just a couple of reminders. Make sure you're subscribed for those daily videos, like we said, because any day it could be another giveaway. I mean, we're not putting any limits on it. So we're starting to get things together to get some swag made and stuff. It's difficult from the beginning, guys, because we have to, upfront all the costs and everything to get, all that stuff purchased, and they make you buy in bulk. So, but we're going to do what we can. But you will, if you end up winning the giveaway, you're going to get some of the first, and maybe we'll sign it or something because it's the first swag that we send out. We'll do something really cool with it. But make sure you're watching daily because, like I said, next time the giveaway comes up, you only have that day to submit your entry. And second, again, if you want to be part of the interviews, we're going to keep doing that. But the big thing is that we're going to be in WinStar on Tuesday, November 21st, probably arriving there sometime in the afternoon, but we'll be there pretty late into the night. And we will we will probably be going live, I'm sure, while we're there. So be sure to look for us. We'll tell you where we are in case you're wandering around. But stay tuned to the channel just so you know where we're at. And we would love you to come say hi and play along with us. That's all we're really doing. We just want to meet you guys and say hi, and hopefully you come play the same machines that we're doing. Somebody's going to win, right? Somebody has to. So yeah, just look forward to that.
And we do have a couple of questions.
Okay, cool.
From Jim here.
Hey guys, I played a 1 class 2 with 9 diamonds at WinStar today. I hit the 10th shortly for $480. All right. Yeah.
Nice.
I hope you didn't chase it though. That last diamond can last forever.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's very rough. It's all an illusion. The diamond game is all an illusion. When it gets to that 9th diamond, you pretty much have to wait for that pattern to come up. And you already know what you're going to hit if you kind of see the pattern whenever the 10th diamond comes up. But $480 is pretty good.
Really good.
I think the highest we had was 160 credits, I think is the most that we've had.
Credits.
Yeah, which was the volcano. So that's a pretty good win. So very, very good.
I can tell you that last diamond is hard to hit.
Yeah, be careful.
And from
say it again.
Little in Detroit to Vegas. Remove the cash advance often on my credit card. Another safety barrier. Thanks, Mark. Great tip. That is a absolutely great thing to do. That is smart to do no matter what. Not just for Vegas and gambling, but that way no one can take cash off your card or force you to take cash off your card. So that's a great thing. Good thing on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta realize, guys, that to get cash advances, you don't need a PIN number or anything like that. And I mean, you do need a license, but pretty easy to fake those these days. So
yeah,
you just have to be very careful. A lot of places actually require you to give them your player's card because they will link it with your player's card, I guess. But cash advances are just never a good idea anyway. If you're to the point where you need to do a cash advance to gamble, you really need to sit back and reevaluate what it is that you're trying to achieve. Because usually, if you're in that mode, you're in some kind of chase to try to, win back your losses, and that's you just dig yourself deeper. And even if you did win your money back, you're still going to have that 30% charge for doing the cash advance when you get home. So you're a loser regardless. So don't do it. Don't do it.
And from Richard, where can I send you guys something, some small trinkets? Richard, tomorrow I will answer your question in our description here in the comments. I'll put in the P.O. box, okay? So if you want to send something, you don't have to at all, but I really appreciate it. But I'll put that P.O. box in there. And if you want to, you're more than welcome to. We appreciate it for sure. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, we'll do a video. We'll unbox it. How about we do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
We all know what it is. Don't tell us what it is when you send it, and one of us will unbox it on camera. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Just don't send us anything bad. Let us know ahead of time what it is. No, I'm just kidding.
Kevin Deal, are you going to do membership? Boom. Oh, my God. Don't send me a glitter bomb, Richard. Hey, Mark, you
save that one to me.
Thing.
I'll send the glitter bomb.
From Kevin Deal, are you going to do memberships? We'll talk about that when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So
yeah,
we'll
no pressure here.
Yeah, no pressure at all. But right now, we haven't even thought about it because you have to have 1,000 subscribers before you get there. So it's not even on our radar at this time. Maybe in a month, because we're running pretty good thanks to you guys. We're up over 500 now. That's amazing. When Mark and I both started our other channels, it was like a year and a half before we got to 1,000.
Yes.
And now it's like we're halfway to 1,000 already.
Yeah,
it's like,
2 weeks.
Crap.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. The best thing that you can do for us right now is just to share the love. Let people know about the channel. If you're going to link them to anything, I would link them to the interviews, because that's kind of our bread and butter. It's the new thing that we're trying. So if you want to tell somebody about the channel and what we're doing, I think those are kind of a good starting video, to send them. But that's the best thing you guys can do right now, is just to try to share it where you can, because that's free. You don't need to pay us anything. We're not asking for any money right now. We don't even have anything to offer except knowledge, and that's what we're trying to do on this channel. And just let people know. And you guys are great. Everybody that's in the chat already, I know you guys are fighting for us, so really do appreciate all the love. It's been amazing.
And Dr. Jen is actually in the chat. Look at all the letters behind her name. That's a lot of freaking letters.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't even know what half that is.
Disciple, DPL, AC. I'm just messing.
It's something. But
she's going to come back in here and yell at me. I know it.
For sure. But she is answering your questions about that. It does have to be persistent, long contact. It's not just, oops, I touched on the shoulder, now you got tuberculosis. So you are fairly on the safe side. Oh, TB laden towels from. Great. Now I got to worry about that and a glitter bomb.
No, thanks a lot.
All right, I think we're good to wrap up. Big thanks to Tammy and Susan out there for being our moderators.
Oh yeah, we see you in there
greeting everybody, sharing the links. We appreciate both of you guys so much. We appreciate all of you guys for being such great fans. Like Mark said, remember to like, share, subscribe, send it out to everybody you know. We don't exclusively talk about gambling, so that might appeal to more people. Maybe.
That's right.
And if you are interested, I'm drinking Woodchuck Blueberry. It has a hint of blueberry. It is my favorite cider, if you're interested. Anyway, they don't send me any money, but maybe they will.
Was that a plug? Are you getting advertisers without telling me?
Hey, I can't help it if I enjoy the crisp apple taste of Woodchuck cider with a hint of blueberry as a great way to end the day. Refreshing.
There's tuberculosis on that can. Enjoy your drink. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again, and we will see you next Wednesday for the next live show. But catch us tomorrow morning, next daily tip.
Don't miss it, 8 a.m. Central Time.
Now we'll fight over who's going to hit the end stream button. It's going to be me.
Yeah, but
'cause
who's
I'm
going to
faster
start?
than you
Wait,
are.
wait, wait. Oh, whoa.
No, what?
Did you forget something?
What I forget?
Gamble smart.
Oh, gamble safe.
There we go. See, like that. Forgot already.
Thanks for reminding me. End stream.